I still remember that New Year's Eve like it was yesterday. The house glowed with fairy lights. Champagne glasses clinked, and everyone was laughing. Except the knot in my stomach wouldn't loosen. I was 35, standing in my parents' living room in the same dress I'd worn the year before, smiling like everything was fine. My career was thriving. I had just closed a huge deal at work, but in my family's eyes I was still the single one. Then my brother walked over, that familiar smirk on his face, his wife and kids trailing behind like a perfect little parade. He raised his glass, looked me up and down, and said loud enough for the whole room to hear, "New Year's alone at 35. Tough." The laughter that followed felt like needles on my skin. My mother gave me that pitying tilt of the head. My father chuckled awkwardly. Even my little niece stared at me like I was some sad character in a movie. I laughed along. I always did. But inside something shattered. I excused myself to the kitchen, gripping the counter so hard my knuckles turned white. 35. Still unmarried. Still spending another New Year's scrolling through other people's happy photos, while I pretended mine didn't matter. I thought about the last relationship that ended because he said I was too independent. I thought about all the holidays I'd shown up alone, carrying gifts for everyone else's kids while mine stayed a quiet dream. That night, I drove home through empty streets, tears blurring the streetlights. The radio played love songs and every lyric felt like it was mocking me too. I walked into my quiet apartment, kicked off my heels, and just stood there in the dark. For the first time, the silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt heavy, like a weight I'd been carrying for years. But what I didn't know that night was that those cruel words were about to light a fire I never knew I had. The next few weeks were a blur of heartbreak I couldn't outrun. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard my brother's voice. New Year's alone at 35. Tough. It played on repeat like a broken record. I stopped answering family calls. I cancelled plans. I sat on my couch in pajamas, wondering what was so wrong with me that even my own brother thought I deserved to be alone. Started replaying every moment of our childhood. How he was always the star, captain of the team, the one who got married at 25, the one who gave our parents grandchildren. I was the quiet sister who studied late, built her career brick by brick, and somehow became the cautionary tale at every family dinner. Then came the real betrayal. My cousin let it slip one afternoon over coffee that my brother had been telling the family for years that I was too picky and scaring men away, that I had turned down perfect guys because I was selfish. Lies. All of it. He painted me as the difficult one while hiding the cracks in his own picture-perfect life. The arguments I overheard, the way his wife looked exhausted every time I saw her, I felt completely exposed. The person who was supposed to protect me had been tearing me down behind my back. The pain was so deep I couldn't even cry anymore. I just felt empty, but emptiness has a strange way of making space for something new. One rainy morning, I looked in the mirror and whispered, "No more." I started waking up at 5 a.m. for runs that cleared my head. I threw myself into work and landed a promotion I'd been chasing for 2 years. I booked solo trips, Paris in spring, the mountains in summer, and for the first time I didn't feel lonely. I felt free. Then, quietly, I met someone. Not through family setups or desperate apps, but at a conference in another city. He was kind, steady, and saw the real me, not the single at 35 label my brother had stuck on me. We kept it private. I needed to heal before I let anyone else in. Every time my brother texted some half-hearted, "How are you?" I smiled at my phone and didn't reply. I was done performing happiness for people who only wanted to watch me stay small. The pain was still there, but it had turned into fuel. I was no longer the girl crying in her car on New Year's Eve. I was becoming someone stronger, Someone May wouldn't recognize. Ending, revenge, climax, and moral. Exactly 1 year later, the same house glowed with fairy lights again. Same laughter. Same champagne. But this time when I walked through the door, everything was different. I wasn't alone. My hand rested in the hand of a man who looked at me like I was his whole world. My left finger sparkled with a ring I had kept secret until that exact moment. The room went quiet. My brother's smirk froze halfway across his face. Before he could open his mouth, I raised my glass and said softly, "Last year someone told me New Year's alone at 35 was tough. Funny thing. Those words pushed me to build the life I always wanted. I stopped waiting for approval. I stopped shrinking. And look at me now." I introduced my fiancé, the man who had flown across the country just to be here tonight. I shared how the promotion had led to a dream job, and how my solo travels had led me straight to him. The family stared in stunned silence. My mother's eyes filled with happy tears. My father actually clapped. Then came the moment I'll never forget. My brother's wife quietly excused herself from the room. Later I learned she had filed for separation weeks earlier. His constant need to feel superior had finally broken their marriage. The golden child was suddenly the one sitting alone in the corner, staring at his empty glass. He never said the words "I'm sorry" out loud, but the way he looked at me that night said everything. The smirk was gone. The man who once tried to make me feel small had become the one who looked lost. I didn't gloat. I didn't need to as the clock struck midnight and fireworks lit up the sky. I stepped outside with the man I love and breathed in the cold air. For the first time in years, the silence felt like peace. If there's one thing I want you to remember from my story, it's this. The best revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's quiet. It's waking up every day and choosing yourself until the people who tried to break, you can't even recognize the woman you've become. I'm 36 now. I'm not alone at New Year's. I'm whole. I'm loved. And I'm finally, truly free. That, my friends, is the sweetest ending of all.